The days that we have come to, days of a change of focus, will also prove to be days of a greater revelation. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 4 of the Torah portion, Beshalach. We're going to go into chapter number 16 and discover what a greater revelation might be. So Israel has now left the vacation spot of the oasis of Elim. There they had enjoyed fountains of water and palm trees. It was great. What a wonderful place to camp. But now they must press on, and they go further into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. And it says here that the timestamp is they have been in the wilderness or away from Mitzrayim 30 days. 1 month on the road. If you do any lengthy traveling, if you spend time with other folks other than your family on vacation, if you have house guests for more than a day or two, you realize that after a while you can start to get on each other's nerves. I've had several occasions of being in the land of Israel, and everybody's excited and thrilled to meet each other on the tour groups, etc. And we're chatting and talking. And by the time the tour is over, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes there's a personality or two that you have learned, I wish they sat in the other end of the bus. I'll let them eat at that table over there. I choose this table over here. That's not being mean-spirited. It's just everybody doesn't get along with everybody. Well, Israel's been out there long enough now that they're beginning to have their issues. And they've already complained and grumbled about water. Now they don't like the food. And so they began to complain to Moshe, we're hungry. And we'd have nothing to eat. Well, they had flocks and they had herds. I mean, they weren't going to starve to death, but they were hungry. So they're complaining that in Mitzrayim, they had it better. It says here in verse number 3, if only we had died by the hand of Yahweh in the land of Mitzrayim, when we sat by the pots of meat and when we ate bread to satisfaction. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to put all of this assembly to death with hunger. Now let's give them, a little bit of a break. They didn't have a Walmart or fast food restaurants or convenience stores to run in and grab something. There was nothing out there, and maybe in their minds these herds will not last this enormous crowd. They won't feed the crowd all the way through the wilderness. What are we going to do? They begin to panic. But there was a shift that had to take place. It was intentional. Now, the answer to their need and their cry was manna. And as you read this chapter, you will see that Yah says, I've heard their hunger and I've heard their complaints, and I will send them quail and to feed them, and then I will also put bread on the ground on a daily basis. All they had to do was step out of their tent, reach over to the ground, and pick up these little wafer-looking things that tasted like honey, bread with honey, delicious meal, and get enough for your daily supply, because when the sun comes up, it's going to melt and it won't be there. So if you sleep through breakfast, you're not going to eat all day. Now, they had the ability then to eat daily that which was supplied to them. Now, here's the shift that I want to focus on. They said that when they were in Mitzrayim, that they were more favored and blessed by Mitzrayim than they were in their freedom and liberty, where they were going to have to learn to depend upon Yah to supply their bread and their water. In the United States, we're going through a shift. Now, in times past, we have blessed Yah for prosperity and for blessing and for favor. We have money in our pockets. We sleep well. We eat. Well, I won't say we eat well, but we eat. We have plenty to choose from to eat. We have roofs over our heads. We have transportation to get to where we need to go. We have a means of living at a high level. Even those that are in poverty in the United States live better than some who live elsewhere and are considered to be wealthy. The favor of Yah has been on us, that's for sure, and it is the Father that has blessed us, but we were reasonably expectant of these things because the land that we live in affords the opportunity for these things to be a reality. Why shouldn't I have the Father to bless me with a new vehicle? Why, we earn money here in America where you can pay for one, at least on the payment plan, and there are plenty of new vehicles to choose from. We're inundated with new cars, new trucks. So I'm just going to believe you, Father, for a new vehicle. And when we get it, we bless him for it. Those who live in other nations, there may not be very many new vehicles available, especially in countries where they don't manufacture vehicles. It would be harder to get that same blessing elsewhere. They, in this wilderness setting, discerned in their minds that we had a better opportunity to eat with variety while we were in slavery than we have out here in the middle of nowhere. Let's understand this. The shift in focus is we are not always going to be blessed, perhaps, possibly, with the affluence of the United States as we have known it. It could be that there are difficult times coming toward us where it may not be as simple as run into the store and grab milk and bread and pay and come on back out. But even in those times, we can find that Yah is the one that is faithful to favor us and bless us. Even in places where affluence is no longer available to us, the Father is the one who is ultimately the source of our blessing and our increase. He sustained a nation in the wilderness daily, putting bread on the ground except for Shabbat. But Erev Shabbat, the day before Shabbat, there was a double portion available that would not breed worms and stink. Yah took care of his people. He brought water out of a rock for them. He sheltered them with a supernatural climate control system of a cloud during the day to shield them from the sun and a pillar of fire at night to warm them. Yah knows how to take care of his people in difficult, barren, wilderness situations. Now, in the book of Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 8, verse 1 through 3, Yah says, guard to do every command which I command you today, that you might live and shall increase and go in and shall possess the land which Yahweh swore to your fathers. And you shall remember that Yahweh your Elohim led you all the way these 40 years in the wilderness to humble you, prove you, to know what was in your heart, whether you would guard his commands or not. And verse 3, and he humbled you and let you suffer hunger, and then fed you with manna which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, to make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of Yahweh. Yah intentionally let their bellies growl with hunger to reveal manna to them, supernatural supply in the middle of nowhere. I'll say that line again. Yah is the one who gives you and I supernatural supply in the middle of nowhere. Trust him. Yah's got this. More tomorrow. Until then, shalom.